What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here. Thank you for joining me on the Select Screen podcast. If you would, go over to linktr.ee/select screen, follow us, and subscribe over there. I'm ready. You're ready. Let's go.
Oh, yeah!
What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here, live and in effect. We're finally getting to our Guardians of the Galaxy 3 review. Finally. If you're listening on Spotify, thanks for checking us out. Shout out to Super Mario Wii 2007 saying, what's good, bro? Thanks for joining us. We got some new sounds in here.
Oh, yeah!
Gotta love that. Gotta have some Boondock sounds. Oh, you know YouTube is already talking to me. We'll mute that. All right. Yeah, man. New sounds in here like this one.
What's really good?
We want to know what's really good with you. What's good? What's really good?
What's really good?
Give me the Mortal Kombat laugh after that. We're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, man. This should be a lot of fun. I went back and watched this again, and this is the first time I've ever went to a movie and took notes. I saw this in Las Vegas with Mrs. Select Screen. You can see our spoiler-free review over on our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/select screen. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and sub. We have a goal of 500. We haven't hit that yet. Want to try to get to that by the end of the year. So definitely tell your friends about the challenge, the channel, and
acknowledge me.
Really helps out the channel, guys. Really does. And just be like Super Mario Wii 2007, as we just call him Mario on the channel. So definitely do that. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Guardians. And like I said, I took notes, man. Let me pull up my notes here on what I liked and what I didn't like this time. Kind of like Eric Voss does, I guess, on his channel. I wanted to see how you guys like this. I usually go off the cuff, off the dome, you know what I mean? But this time I want to do something a little different. We're going to go over my notes, talk about what I liked, what I didn't like. I gave the movie a C+ in our theater review. I want to know what you guys think. So again, leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Bruh.
That being said, you guys have liked, you subscribed, you're listening on Spotify and iTunes and all these places for the podcast. Appreciate y'all so much for
Choose your destiny.
with me and all the other selectors. I'm ready. You're ready. Let's go. Yeah, man. All right, let's jump into this. Hopefully RL jumps in here and talks with us too. If you haven't yet, we're also on Discord. I think I mentioned that. Discord, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, Spotify podcasts, Anchor podcasts as well, and now YouTube podcasts. YouTube now has podcasts. So let's jump into this thing, man. As usual, I'll talk about the good and the bad. You already know my grade. After seeing a second time, my grade isn't changing. I'm staying with a C+.
Yeah.
I'm going with a C+. And I know people are like, what? It's Guardians of the Galaxy. I like Guardians of the Galaxy. Let me say that first and foremost. I like 1, 2, and 3. But I do think the movies kind of go in that order. I think 1 was an A+ movie. I really do. 2 was like a B+ movie, and the third one is a C+ movie. Does that mean they got worse over time?
Nope.
No, I don't think so. These movies are still really great. I think, as a lot of Marvel movies had, they've just had a lot of stuff to do. For instance, let's talk about the things I didn't like about this movie. As I mentioned in our spoiler-free review, Groot really looks bad in this movie. I don't like it. I don't like he's a muscly teenager. I think the way they had him going as baby Groot and then teenage Groot, it should have been an adult Groot that looks like the other Groot. I think him coming full circle would have worked. And you're going to hear me say a lot about the visual effects. This movie has great visual effects. Let me say that. But there's just some weird choices, I think, in this movie that brought it down for me.
What?
Another thing that kind of didn't work for me was the whole Gamora angle. Gamora really doesn't work in this movie. I mean, it really doesn't work. Her whole, like, I get that she's not the same Gamora that we're used to, and word on the street is that they were going to kill her off, I believe, in the second one originally. But she's really kind of reverse of her sister, Nebula. And I don't think it works. It's like they kind of switch places throughout these movies. And normally something like that should work, but it doesn't. Nebula has become very likable, and Gamora is kind of insufferable at times. I'm just like, when she's on the screen, I'm like, okay. Like, Quill is in love with her, and she's like, no, I don't know you. I'm not in love with you. And that's it. And I'm done talking to you for the rest of
Tonight!
I don't know. And it's like, okay, well, that's wrapped up. But then we still have 60% of the movie left. It just bothered me. I don't know. Excuse me. That really didn't work. Mario says, I didn't even cry during Rocket's past or him almost dying. Same with Eddie's in Stranger Things 4. I've never watched Stranger Things because I'm a scaredy cat. But we'll get to that. Keep that in mind, Mario. Keep that in mind. Something else I didn't like in this movie is this guy. If you're not watching and you're listening, I'm pointing to Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock at the beginning of this movie, well, if you go back to Guardians 2, he set up with the Cocoon, the Sovereign, all of this stuff. And I feel like the Sovereign overall just got sidelined. Because the Sovereign were these big, huge, they're the Guardians, enemies, all this stuff. And it kind of came off like,
I mean, it's all right. Like,
yeah, they just kind of threw them in there. And it's like, wait a minute. They were a main point in the second movie to kind of move things along. And then all of a sudden, they just kind of threw him to the side. And that's how Adam Warlock enters. He just flies through and starts knocking out people, and there's Adam Warlock. Like, it would have been really cool to see him come out of the cocoon too early, even having the main villain breaking him out. Like, we wanted to see that. And that's been a problem, I feel like, with Marvel a little bit, is we're telling and we're not showing.
Yeah!
We got to start showing this stuff. That's what makes this stuff. Kraglin, again, as well, is just wasted. He's working on the Arrow, but a lot of the times, Kraglin and Groot are just sidelined. Like, hey, go watch Rocket. Hey, bring the ship around. Go do this. And that happens to several other characters. And that's, again, why this movie comes down a couple of pegs. Cosmo. I was really excited for Cosmo. I like that they changed Cosmo into being a female dog, closer reflecting what the actual Russian dog that they sent up. I forgive me for not knowing the name of the dog. But yeah, Cosmo was just like, I'm on a quest to not be called a bad dog. That doesn't work.
Nope.
I don't get it. Could have been so much more. And then on that note, Rocket and Groot's relationship was really not cared for. Like, in the first two movies, they're really, really close. Groot does obviously really care about Rocket, but it seems a little bit like Rocket just did not care about Groot. You know what I mean? He hugged him. Hey, I'm alive. Everything's cool. But he was more worried about the other characters that were in his past, right? About Lila, about Floor, about Teefs. And it was willing to leave Groot to be with them. And I just, again, I felt like that kind of disserviced the first two movies. And then lastly, everything on the living Ergo planet was bad. It looked like Scorn to me. Mario says, bad dog. And I liked Cosmo. I really did. But that living planet thing that they went on was unnecessary. It wasn't funny to me. And a lot of this movie is still funny. I'm gonna get to some of the things that I did like, but that gag, it didn't work. It just didn't work. They had, they had to cut out a hole of the planet. They put their clothes like in this thing that sucks the clothes out. It just didn't work. Like, we get it. The planet is organic because the high evolutionary is messing with organic matter, and it didn't work. It didn't tie together. Nathan Fillion, I think is how you say his name, huge actor. His scenes were funny, but it didn't need him in a big marshmallow suit. You know what I mean? It was like a practical gag, a physical gag that just, for me, that fell pretty flat. Now, let's talk about all the good things about this movie and why I still think it was deserving of a C+ grade. A C+ grade for me is, man, you should still see the movie, right? Where do I start? The Baby Rocket stuff, for me, Mario brought this up. Mario says it again, he didn't cry, but I felt like right from the intro, this movie really, really got me with Baby Rocket. Mario brought up a good point there. Let me go back to one thing, guys, that I didn't like. The F-bomb. The F-bomb was totally unnecessary in the movie. It was a funny joke, but could have been done in the same way with Freakin'. It didn't need to be in the movie, and especially because in this movie, a lot of people took their kids to this movie. I'm not taking my kids to this one. I've taken them to the first two. But this one was a lot darker, and it just didn't need the F-bomb. It just really didn't. It was like, hey, look, we're going to do it in a Disney movie. Going back to the things I did like. Yes, again, it was sad, Mario. 100% agree. But the transition from Baby Rocket to Adult Rocket was just beautiful. The baby stuff, the friend stuff, was obviously touching, but also it was very, very well done. There are scenes where, even though they have metal arms and big wheels attached to them, those animals looked real. And they really did a great job on nailing that part.
Flawless victory.
And they needed to. They really needed to. Something else, the plot happens fairly fast, right? We don't waste a lot of time trying to figure out what this movie's about. It's very quickly like Quill he's missing Gamora, blah, 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 but Rocket is going to die. So we need to move. Let's get going. Let's get him fixed up right now. And I really appreciated that it moved into the main plot very, very quickly. Again, the problem was Adam Warlock moved too quickly. So there's a balance there that maybe needed to happen a little bit more, but I really enjoyed that. Hey, We're getting to the main plot of the movie. We're not going to dilly-dally with a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I like too that the High Evolutionary did make the Sovereign. I just wanted that fleshed out more. But I like that angle, because why else did they exist in the second movie? It gave them more of a purpose overall. Now, Aisha being kind of dropped a peg on the villain ladder kind of hurt, but nevertheless, it was a good way of tying him into the movie and having a little bit of investment. The other thing is the Ravengers. I thought this was kind of cool, and I don't know if anyone else picked on this, but one of the Ravengers, who looked more like a fish, he specifically had a Doctor Strange portal. That was pretty neat to see that they were kind of tying that in. So maybe he studied under Doctor Strange and then left. That was pretty cool. I liked that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. And again, the new friends. Every time Lila said, "It's good to have friends." Man, you just knew something bad was going to happen. But boy, were those new friends good. I mean, Teefs was great. Floor was, even though she was horrifying to look at, it was so sweet and just genuine, I felt like. And that really, really worked for me. One thing I don't know if anyone noticed, and this will kind of be my last point, and we'll talk some more, but I thought this was perfect.
Perfect.
If you notice, if you go back and watch the movie, and I don't see anyone else talking about this, the Guardians inside of the High Evolutionary ship, they get thrown into kind of a pit where all the rest of the Jib kids are. And when they get thrown in there, they have a downward angle shot, and it looks like Iron Man's chest piece. And I don't know if that's James Gunn's, I don't know if that's his, "Hey, we love Iron Man" tribute kind of thing, but I noticed it the second time very clearly, like, hey, that's the triangle symbol from Iron Man. I don't know. James Gunn, if you're watching this, I'd love to know if that was an Easter egg or not.
Flawless victory.
Overall, I think this movie is a good movie. It's stronger than a lot of Phase 4. It's much stronger than a lot of the Disney Plus stuff. It felt worthy of a movie 100%.
Yeah.
It just, I think it rushed in the wrong places in some places, and then in some places it rushed in the right places. For instance, the helmet thing, which I brought up in the spoiler-free review. There's no reason why Quill shouldn't have left his helmet. It just doesn't make sense. But he did, and that's where we're at, and it heightened the drama, but I felt like that part was rushed. Let's see. Mario says, and Rocket literally got attacked in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie. He sure did. And that, again, that was cool. It was cool to see, like, what do they do when they can't just have a med pack fix everything? And I like where Gunn was going with that. I just think overall, it needed to slow down in certain areas and speed up in other areas. Just a pacing issue. If those pacing issues would have been addressed, I think this movie would have been just as good as the second one. The story was there. And let's see where Quill's going to end up in the end. You know what I mean? That's another thing that's going to be really interesting, is to see where he shows up again. Will it be, Secret Wars? I'm thinking so. It'll be weird to not see him with everyone else. I really, really, really liked Nebula in this one. It was good to see her walk into that role and the roles that she was in. I wanted more for her. If they had a show just about her, like running stuff, it'd have been great. One of the reasons why I waited to do this spoiler-free review, or well, the spoiler review, is very much so to talk about what's going on right now on Disney Plus, and that's Secret Invasion. There's a big plot hole here because the Guardians now own their own planet, right? And in Secret Invasion, the Skrulls are looking for a home. Why would Captain Marvel not say, hey, can I bring the Skrulls here? I think that needs to be addressed in some kind of way. Sheesh. So what did you guys think? I want to know. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Was it a C+? I think it was. Definitely worth seeing. I saw it twice. Catching some extra stuff. And that's all I really got for you on this episode, man. New Easter egg. Hopefully James Gunn sees this and talks about it with the Iron Man tribute. And overall, the takeaway from this, guys, is it's good to have friends. Definitely. Hopefully here, off topic, we hear from my man Wrestling and Aaron. They are at Friday Night SmackDown. So that's pretty cool. Check out our Discord to see some of their photos. They're over there in the UK right now. Money in the Bank is this weekend. So hopefully they're going to get some good stuff over there. And then maybe we'll do a little spoiler cast with them or something like that. I was hoping to talk to them tonight, but it may have been too late. But I'm sure specifically Wrestling will give me a full lowdown on what happened. I'm not even watching SmackDown. I want to hear it from Wrestling first as our scooper out there. So shout out to Wrestling. Shout out to Aaron. Give him a yeah, LA Knight.
Yeah!
Guys, check us out at linktr.ee/select screen. We're on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. Check us out on the YouTube podcast as well. Help us get to 500. Really helps out the channel so much, man. I'm so excited for what we've got planned in store. Much more Street Fighter 6, a lot more Mortal Kombat 1. If you guys haven't seen Elmo play through that yet, that is up on the channel as well. Lots more games, lots more movies. We're going to be talking about Across the Spider-Verse in a review very, very quickly. And then we've got some selector reviews still. We still got another one for DJ, so shout out to DJ as well, all right? Do two things for me, guys. As usual, be kind to one another. Remember to choose your destiny. My name's Select Screen, and I'm out.